I'm W. Keith Williams II, personal injury attorney. For over 30 years, I've been fighting hard and winning big against major insurance companies. As a result, I have earned the reputation of a tough trial litigator. If you've been injured, call me now. I will fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
If you've been injured in a car accident,
call Keith.
If you have been injured because of a slip and fall,
call Keith.
If you were injured as the result of medical malpractice,
call Keith.
With over 30 years of trial excellence in locations in Delaware County and Philadelphia, we are here to serve all of your personal injury needs.
His career in reference to horseback riding. So we're going to find out more information in reference to his horseback riding facility. Welcome, Mr. Clayton. How are you?
Thanks for inviting me.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I am a community advocate with a program from Zion Baptist Church called Teen Network. What Teen Network does is provides college access to members of the community who may or may not have access to higher education. Because in our community, there is still a group of people, or many members of our community, have no clue about higher education or education beyond the 12th grade.
Okay.
Some of whom actually are adverse to it because they're not familiar with it. But we want to change that paradigm.
Awesome. Okay. And would you be able to let us know a little bit more about, like, how can we get more of this information in order?
Well, we're a faith-based organization out of Zion Baptist Church, and we were mentored. Our group, many of the members of our group were mentored by Dr. Leon Sullivan, who was one of the members of Dr. King's inner circle. In fact, Dr. Sullivan was one of the chief strategists of the civil rights movement, which actually started here in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Most people may not be familiar with it because Dr. Sullivan was more concerned about the movement than he was about self-promotion.
Okay.
In fact, while he lived, no building or program had his name on it.
Okay.
So a lot of times he was in the background, so much so that very few people credit him with the release from prison of Nelson Mandela. Dr. Sullivan led the movement to end apartheid in South Africa. And he was present when P.W. Botha and Nelson Mandela received the Medal of Freedom.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So I was much younger then, but as a group of young people, we were being told that Nelson Mandela was a terrorist, and that was one story. The official story was that he was a terrorist and that he was sent to prison in 1968. Now, in 1968, we were at the height of the civil rights movement in the United States.
Yes.
But the apartheid regime was determined to preserve segregation in South Africa.
Okay.
And they were doing so with the assistance of the government of the United States.
Okay.
But that was a closely held, it wasn't a secret, but only people familiar with the situation really realized what was going on. So officially, what the media in the United States followed was a protocol which basically stated that everything was fine in South Africa.
Okay.
Dr. Sullivan had a different access. He had access to a gentleman by the name of Bishop Desmond Tutu, who was allowed to travel out of South Africa because he was a clerk.
Wow, amazing.
And because he was a clerk, he was allowed to travel and people did not hinder his travel. But he would bring the truth out of South Africa.
Okay.
So that Nelson Mandela was a political prisoner and he threatened the apartheid system.
Okay.
That was his error, if you will. And that was what he was in prison for.
Okay, sir.
So it mimicked what was going on in the South here.
Right, gotcha. Okay. And would you be able to let us know a little bit more about your horseback riding facility?
Okay, so The horseback riding is a program actually operated by a lady by the name of Leslie Heiner under a nonprofit called Work to Ride.
Okay.
They have their own website and they're located on Chamonix Drive in Fairmount Park.
Okay.
They just finished building a facility which has the capacity for people to play polo indoors.
Awesome.
At one time, horseback riding in Philadelphia would shut down in the wintertime because of the weather. It was not safe for people or horses to be out, and sometimes when the weather gets bad.
Okay.
So for safety, people would basically put their horses away for the winter. So, vision at one point was that if we could build a facility which would provide for indoor activities in the wintertime, it would be wonderful.
Okay.
The actual facility has just been completed, and they haven't done the open house yet.
Okay.
But Leslie Heiner founded a nonprofit which serves underserved youth in an urban environment.
Okay. And if anyone here in Philadelphia area would like to get in touch with you, what is your information?
I can be reached at 215-470-3910.
Okay.
Clayton Johnson.
Awesome.
I'm W. Keith Williams II, personal injury attorney. For over 30 years, I've been fighting hard and winning big against major insurance companies. As a result, I have earned the reputation of a tough trial litigator. If you've been injured, call me now. I will fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
If you've been injured in a car accident,
Call Keith.
if you have been injured because of a slip and fall,
Call Keith.
if you were injured as the result of medical malpractice.
Call Keith.
With over 30 years of trial excellence in locations in Delaware County and Philadelphia, we are here to serve all of your personal injury needs.